So we're after what I'd like to think is a good photo of the little tern. Here they are in New South Wales, a fact sheet on it, brought out by the National Parks and Wildlife. So here's their breeding grounds: Northern Rivers, Coffs Coast, Taree, Central Coast, Sydney, all down the coast. So we'll go to this one here, Harrington or Manning Point, or maybe this one here, Old Bar, Errol Sage Drive. Try and capture their breeding ground, hopefully pick up some nice photos of the little tern in their breeding habitat. Now check this out, they do migrate between New South Wales and either Java, Indonesia, breeding sites, recovery action. I can't remember where I read it, but yeah, all the way up the coast of New South Wales. That's a big one. That's the big group breeding ground around Farquhar. But they migrate between New South Wales and Indonesia, and also up as far as the Philippines. But they also breed over in the UK as well, and travel between UK and Africa. So, you know, obviously these are the eastern ones that go between New South Wales and Asia, and there's also a very similar breed in the western part of the globe, between UK and Africa. Anyway, we'll go to Farquhar somewhere and see what we can find. As you can see, they seem to be, yeah, Harrington, Farquhar, some big numbers around here. That's where they mostly breed in New South Wales. So we'll go to that area and see if we can pick up some nice little terns. So here we are at a little beachside suburb called Old Bar. It's on the mid-north coast of New South Wales, and it's supposedly have the highest population of these little terns. I've been here quite a few times. I've never seen too many of them really, but I've never really looked. But sometimes you see the terns flying in around with the seagulls, chasing food around the beaches. You see them a reasonable amount of times, but you know, what I'm trying to do here is to try and catch them in their habitat, maybe breeding, maybe see some chicks, who knows. It'd be good if we could, but yeah, we'll have to be lucky to get that. It's a sleepy little village. How far north? You know, about an hour's drive north of Newcastle. Got a caravan park, a little village that you've just seen. Now what we're doing here, we're turning left up here, we're going to a little place called Mud Bishops, which is the inlet, or more or less the outlet of the Manning River. There's a little airport. Oh, okay, so all the army's here. For some reason you can't see that. For some reason the army's here. There must be some... Oh, there's a radar there. See the radar flicking around? Oops. They've had some floods here, so maybe there's some flood relief stuff going on here. Or just an ordinary army exercise. But I did notice where the bad floods were up at Lismore, quite a few kilometres north of here. They even had the Singaporean Air Force bringing food relief down. So it's a major deal, these floods here in this region. There's a fundraising thing tonight. I'll probably kick in a couple $100. It's I never ever, you know, we thought we'd seen the floods here last year was bad, but my old boss had been up to Lismore the last few days to assess damage to one of the, we've got a depot in Lismore, and some of the stories he's come back with, you know, people riding around on their boats in the streets just rescuing people because the state emergency service weren't able to get there, the army and the police weren't able to get there. Nobody could get to these people except ordinary everyday citizens. So we're coming up to Mud Bishops now. The beach is about, I don't know, 300-400 metres to my right. That's Mud Bishops direct ahead. But I'll call in this little beach cove, and I don't know, with a bit of luck we'll get ourselves a photo of a little tern, hopefully. So it's not national park here, so there's not so many rules around where you can go and what you can do, but anyway, here we are, Old Bar Beach, and that's Mud Bishops to the left of that. So there we go. So I probably could have drove up this track, but I don't have a permit. Leads to the beach. You could drive up and down the beach. It also leads to the Mud Bishops outlet, and that's what we'll be looking for, the Mud Bishops outlet. So as you can see, there's, well, maybe you can't see, but I can tell you there's been a lot of rain here last week. So that's the little tern breeding ground, I believe. There should be a sign up here telling us about it, I hope. Not allowed to drive on the dunes. Hopefully over in that waterway area over there, we'll see some little terns. Look how much stuff is washed up on the beach from the floods. This is all the trees and stuff that's come down the river and washed up on the beach this last week with all this rain we've had. There we go. It's a little tern nesting site. Pied oyster catcher, beach stone curlew, and that's the one we're after, the little tern. And that's their breeding grounds. You can see where they at least managed to get a photo feeding the chick. I can only hope I can get something like that. And there's a photo of the chicks. Let's see how we go. Well, certainly not encouraging. I did see one little tern flying away, but mostly herons and a couple of plovers, and I even seen a magpie, but it's not exactly a feeding frenzy out there. I mean, not many birds at all. Okay, I'll just keep looking for a absolutely nothing around here. I managed to walk past that magpie there, so where is he? There. So I'll see if I can get a good shot of him. See how that goes. Well, according to the signs, this is the habitat that they breed in. I've been walking around here the last 10 minutes and haven't been able to see anything that resembles a bird screaming out of the bush. Who knows? They could be in there anywhere, but unfortunately today, no luck. But nevertheless, we improvise and probably come back tomorrow and I don't know, maybe change our mode of operating or change our goals to something else. But still, it's a nice quiet place. You can hear the surf in the background. I can see some people camping over there, but yeah, maybe fishing. Looks like they're staying there for the night. Looks good. Anyway, we'll have a look tomorrow, or another day anyway. I'm not sure if this is a viable assignment. You can see on the sand there's been very heavy rain and there's no bird tracks at all. So birds don't seem to be hanging around out here. I can see that looks like kangaroo tracks, but no birds. No birds. And maybe with all the rain they flew off to Indonesia or Philippines or somewhere. It's just full of birds, so the floods must have had something to do with it. Let's see if we can go and get this bird. Just have a coffee and a bit of toast and Vegemite. So back here in the little tern breeding ground, early morning, it's about 7:30, and well, haven't seen much, not way of terns anyway. A flock of black cockatoos just flew over the top, squealing out as they went. But as far as other birds go, I've seen one heron. And that's about it. So, like I said, I think maybe this wild, wretched weather we've been having the last few weeks has scared our migratory birds away. Don't know, but you can hear those black cockatoos in the background there, sitting in those trees there now. Well, there's just a time you have to admit defeat. I've been wandering around here for 30-40 minutes. Haven't seen anything. I've seen one fairy wren, but there is no movement here. These birds are gone. They've flown for the winter, an early winter. I think they just got out of here because of all the rain. But you can see why they like to breed here. It's a beautiful place. Well, the story continues. I'm a little bit further north now. I've had to come up to do something for work, and this afternoon I've decided, well, I'll have a look around at this other so-called habitat called Harrington, which is I don't know, a few miles further north than the old bar one. So this one here, I'm gathering out there in those sand dunes, is little tern country. So with a bit of luck we might see some. Hopefully there hasn't, well, I say there's been just the same amount of rain, but hopefully they haven't vacated there. So I don't know, put it this way, I don't see a lot of bird life, but if I can't find any little terns, there's a reasonable chance I'll get something else. Okay, wish me luck. Look at this. No swimming here. Well, I've been here. I used to come out here in my boat, I don't know how long ago, 20 years ago. And this breakwall, this was all sea all the way, but the sea's washed all the sand dunes up here, and it's created a new mouth to the river further south, about, I don't know, 500 metres. So a little bit different here. So apparently this is their habitat over here at the Harrington side, and not a lot of activity, but I'll go and have a look over there. Near that log there. Maybe that log's a bit of a protection wall. You can see this is like an overspill from when storms out at sea, when they get up too high on the beach, and it just brings water straight in and fills that lagoon up in there. So this is just like a flood area from the ocean when we've been getting those big storms. That's what I want to look at. A bit of luck, something over there, but I doubt it. Looks like in one of those flood areas, so probably not. I haven't seen a lot of activity. In fact, I haven't seen any activity out. So I can see myself going out to some and trying to get something else over there. So yeah, another floodway coming from the ocean. You can see water makes its way down there. I just deposited that log there. And just the tracks around here, they're either human or foxes. I don't see any little tracks at all. So there you go. My quest for the little tern so far is a failure. But you know, you learn from your mistakes, and better luck next time. I'll go down to the lagoon and see what's down there. Nothing here in these tidal flats. I can see a little tern flying over there in the distance, but I won't be able to capture that. What a hard assignment. I'm going to pick something easier next time. So there's a little woolly wagtail in amongst a whole army of soldier crabs all marching sideways for some reason. I don't know if I can go down there and get something. Yes, I was quite intrigued to watch these couple of willy wagtails just frolicking, I guess, in amongst the crabs. At first I thought they were either stirring them up or feeding on them or something, but no, they weren't even interacting with them. They were just playing in the water right next to the crabs, and cute little animals. So I just thought I'd grab a couple of photos of them. They're very photogenic, as you can see. But in the distance, I thought I could see a tern out there. And then, flying overhead was this eagle. And that usually stirs things up when that happens. And then up gets the tern, and sure enough, starts dive bombing on the crabs. And there you see, picked itself a crab up, flew away. Just flew away with the crab there, and went back over from where it came from, next to the water, all the way over there, and just ate the crab. So that was very, very good. Very lucky. Yeah, so very lucky to get that, feeding on the crab. But when I got up to go away, well, it come back over. Not to feed this time, but to give me an aerial display right in front of me of its flying skills. Diving, turning, swivelling. Graceful animal. Graceful bird. I was quite lucky to get this shot as it flew back past me. So, yeah, as it turned out, a successful mission. Well, semi-successful. I did go out to try and get the breeding chicks. That didn't happen. They're obviously gone somewhere else. But, some of the adults have stayed behind, and I was very, very lucky to get them feeding on those crabs and then giving me the aerial display. So, yeah, there we go. The graceful little tern.